Fox News is America's election headquarters, and Mitt Romney may have a trust issue with some Republican voters. For months now, the former Massachusetts governor has hovered near the top of the Republican presidential field, but he's had trouble getting above that 25% in national polls. The most recent Real Clear Politics average of those polls showing him, well, behind Newt Gingrich. Some GOP voters say they just don't trust Romney, claiming he changes his views to suit the political mood. Joining me now is John Bramnick, chairman of the Republican New Jersey Assembly Campaign Committee, and from Nashville, Democratic strategist John Rowley. Two Johns here, so I'll use your last names as well. John Bramnick, let me start with you. Look, you know this. Flip-flops and pandering are endemic in politics. Yet it seems to be a monitor that is sticking to Mitt Romney. I wonder why and how much it'll hurt him.
Well, actually, he's done pretty well. He's over 40% in New Hampshire. He's been around 30%, 25% in a crowded field. That's a really good number. And this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And if you look at this marathon, he's held up very well.
You know, John Rowley, Romney advisors say voters won't really care about any of this because what they care about most is fixing the economy and little else. What say you?
Overcoached and really over-inhibited is the problem Mitt Romney's been having in this campaign. And the challenge he has right now is the qualities he needs, and I think especially what Republican primary voters have found lacking is they need someone who is interesting, who is authentic, and is principled, and I don't think he's communicated that he is any of those things.
Yeah.
And to some degree, we may have an overreaction, a son trying to not make the mistake of his father. His father made some monumental gaffes in his failed candidacy when he was a front runner in 1968, and he's really trying to run and rerun the approach Richard Nixon took back in '68 with a very stage-managed campaign. And you can't do it in this day and age.
It was the regrettable, infamous, I was brainwashed by the generals about Vietnam that did in George Romney. But John Bramnick, back to you. Newt Gingrich, of all people, said this about Mitt Romney, and we'll put it up on the screen. There's no point in beating Obama with somebody who is confused about who they are or what they believe. Well, isn't Newt Gingrich guilty of maybe even more backflips, cap and trade, the individual health mandate, the Libyan intervention, Paul Ryan's Medicare plan? Those are arguably all flip-flops.
Well, first of all, you take anyone under a microscope and you're going to find some inconsistency. The question is, these individuals, these candidates who have surged, they've then fallen back. But Mitt Romney stayed consistently strong in the polls. So these surges back and forth, I don't think that's really the answer. Who is presidential? Who can beat Barack Obama? And Mitt Romney's the guy.
And to that point, John Rowley, back to you. In a recent Gallup poll, 40% of voters say Romney has the best chance of beating President Obama next year compared to 21% who say Gingrich does. Look, as a moderate, Romney may stand the better chance of winning over the independents that are critical to winning. Would Romney pose the toughest challenge to President Obama?
Possibly, but, I mean, Newt is a ticking time bomb. That's been the story of his entire political career, is that as soon as he ascends to the top of the pyramid, he makes a gaffe and falls back to the bottom again. That's what happened to him in 1995 when he was the Speaker of the House.
So Romney is at least steadier and appealing to the independents and moderates.
Well, Romney needs to take a page out of Newt's playbook and do something interesting and memorable. I think Newt probably needs to take a page out of Romney's playbook, and while he's on top, be a little more cautious, maybe even take another Mediterranean cruise and not say anything for a couple weeks. Is probably the best thing Newt could do for his campaign.
So you're recommending a Gingrich-Romney-Vulcan mind meld, and maybe they can blend together. All right, John Rowley, John Bramnick, good to see you both. Thanks very much.